All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about a huge shift in how we think about AI. I mean, we're moving past AI just being a clever tool and into a world where it's a real active teammate that can finally get its hands on your most critical business data.
It seems like such a simple question, doesn't it? You can ask your phone to plan an entire vacation, no problem. But then you go to your company's internal chatbot and ask something simple like, hey, what's the status of this customer's order? And suddenly you hit a brick wall. That little frustration? It gets right to the heart of the problem we're unpacking today.
And here's the core of the issue right here. On one side, you've got consumer AI. It's playing in this giant open sandbox of the public internet. But for a business, the real gold, the answers you actually need, they're all locked up in these super complex, secure systems. Your SAP, Salesforce, Oracle, Databricks, and they all speak totally different languages. So the big question is, how do you bridge that gap? How do you give AI the key to the kingdom, so to speak? Well, the answer lies in a new standard that's basically a universal connector for AI, and it's called MCP.
MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and really, it's the magic that makes all of this possible. You can think of it as a standardized language, a common API that lets AI models finally talk to all those different siloed enterprise systems. It gives them a clear, structured way to find tools, figure out what data is there, and then actually do something.
And you gotta love this analogy for Microsoft because it just makes perfect sense. They say to think of MCP like a USB-C port for AI. I mean, remember having a drawer full of a million different chargers? Now, with USB-C, one port, one cable connects pretty much everything. That's exactly what MCP is doing for AI. It's creating that one single standard way for an AI agent to plug into any business tool or database out there. So, how does this actually work in practice? Well, you can think of it like a four-step dance. First, the agent has to discover what's available, kind of like a new chef walking into a kitchen and seeing what appliances are on the counter. Next, it has to understand how to use them, which buttons to push, what settings to use. Then comes the important part. It invokes the tool. It actually takes action. And finally, it receives a clean, structured result back. It gets the perfect answer, not just a mess of raw data. Okay, so that's the tech, the theory behind it all, but what does this actually look like when you put it to work in a real business? Let's jump into some use cases and see these AI agents in action. Okay, picture this. You're a sales rep, and you just got an urgent notification. You're being pulled into a major customer escalation meeting, like right now. Their system is down, they are not happy, and you've got maybe 5 minutes to get up to speed. Normally, you'd be frantically trying to log into 3, maybe 4 different systems, right? Pulling reports, trying to piece everything together. But instead, you just ask your AI sales assistant for a quick brief, and bam, it instantly connects to Dataverse for the account history, Snowflake for usage data, and Zendesk for all the support tickets. It chews through all of that info, calculates a real-time customer health score, and even pre-populates follow-up tasks for your team. You walk into that meeting completely calm and prepared. That's the difference. Okay. Let's switch gears and head over to the finance department. Anyone who's worked in finance knows the pain of the month-end close. It's this nightmare of manual data pulls, endless spreadsheets, and last-minute corrections. It is a process that is just begging for a smarter way to get things done. And this slide really tells the story. The old way could take 10, even 12 days, a ton of manual merging and rework, and you'd always find mistakes right at the finish line. But with AI agents, the whole process is flipped on its head. The work isn't happening at the end of the month, it's happening continuously. The agents are always reconciling, always looking for weird anomalies. And the result? The close process shrinks from 10 days down to maybe 3. That's a game changer. Okay, and what about the folks who live and breathe data every day? The data analysts. They spend so much of their time just wrestling with databases. So imagine having an agent that can basically act as a junior data analyst, one that can explore your most complex data warehouses all on its own. And this is not some far-off dream. An AI agent plugged into a platform like Databricks has a whole toolkit at its disposal. It can explore all the metadata to see what's there, understand the schemas and how the tables relate, and then, this is the amazing part, it can automatically write the correct SQL query to answer your question. It's like having an analyst that never gets tired and never, ever makes a typo. Okay,
But let's address the elephant in the room. Giving AI this much autonomous power, it brings up a huge question, and it's probably the first one on every executive's mind. How on earth do we control this? How do we make sure it's secure?
Right. You absolutely can't just unleash thousands of these agents into your systems and hope for the best. That would be chaos. You need a central command center, a control plane, and that's exactly what platforms like Microsoft's Agent 365 are for. They act as a secure gateway to manage all these agents, giving IT the visibility and control they desperately need.
And this is so critical. The security is baked in from the very beginning. For access control, the agent inherits your permissions. So we can't see or do anything you're not already allowed to. For approvals, you can set rules. So if an agent wants to do something big, like approve a huge payment, it has to get a human to sign off first. And finally, auditability. Every single thing the agent does is logged forever. It creates a perfect, unchangeable trail for any auditors. And why is all this governance so incredibly important? Well, get this. By 2028, some projections show businesses will have 1.3 times billion of these agents running. 1.3 billion. Trying to manage that many digital workers without a centralized control plane, it's completely impossible.
So when you pull it all together, it brings us to the real punchline here. We're not just looking at a better tool. We are watching a fundamental evolution of what AI even is inside a company. I think this quote from Everworker just nails it. RPA and BI can't close your books. AI workers can. That's the leap from tools to teammates. And that's it, right there. Your old tools could show you a chart or copy-paste some data, but they couldn't reason. They couldn't solve a problem. That's the massive leap we're seeing.
And this visual makes that difference just crystal clear. On the left, you have old-school automation, RPA. It's just a dumb script, a robot arm following a set of pre-programmed keystrokes. If a button on the screen moves an inch, the whole thing shatters. But these new AI agents, they're totally different. You give them a goal, and they use their tools and their ability to reason to figure out how to get there. They can adapt. It's the difference between a simple macro and a genuine teammate.
So we'll end on this thought. Think about it. All the answers you need to run your business better, faster, smarter, they're already there. They're sitting inside your systems right now. So the question is no longer about whether you have the data. The real question is your AI finally equipped to ask the right questions and go get the answers?